Our habits directly or indirectly impact our brain, and we normally don't realize those things. But in my experience, definitely my habits have a greater impact on my brain, how I think, and how I react. And that is something I'm trying to analyze all the time and start to think and change about my habits so that I can do something better. And it is not about always being more productive or earn more money or get more status or something like that. It is as simple as that, knowing what I am and what I stand for, what are my values, and things like that. These things are very hard to understand for any individual unless you start evaluating your own habits and see how you how you are reacting and from where your reactions are coming from. And that is what something I'm going to cover in today's video. Hey guys, welcome to Money Mindset and More. And today I'm going to cover some of the habits which I have analyzed in my life, how they impact my brain and how I can change those things to live a better life. Let's put that way. And starting with something which I call staying in the dark for a very long time or staying in the dark too much. Now it has two types of meaning. One is the literal meaning. Staying too much in dark means if you have a habit of doing things late in the night or extremely early like 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. or something like that, then this is something literally for you, that this is definitely impacts your brain. If you keep working late night hours for a very long time, actually your function of your brain goes down. And I have felt it myself, whether it is during my engineering days, my MBA days, or during my job, and even today, whenever I have extended hours in the night and I have worked upon, my brain activities actually goes down. Second meaning is philosophical. Staying in the dark too much means not going in the depth of things which matters in your life and then reacting based upon whatever you think might be right based upon your own comfort zone. So for example, in any political scenario, you just incline yourself on some parties or some philosophies based upon they gives you comfort rather than digging into issues which are actually might be more worth understanding and reading about it. A classic example in US is tariffs. Everybody have either they are against it or they are supporting it. And I have analyzed both the parties are not analyzing and going in detail to understand what tariff are. And they and that is why I call philosophically staying in the dark too much. You should not. If you have something which you want to discuss and it is impacting your life, you should go deep and you understand with unbiased mind. It will actually help your brain to function better. And then you have another thing which I don't do at all in these days. I don't watch any news. Probably since 2016, I don't watch any news. I hardly go to watch anything very specifically, because consuming too much news is always going to impact your thinking, your behavior, and how you react in the society, especially negative news. And all the media, every media, paid media or social media, is full of that, because hate always sells more, and that's how they generate a lot of revenues. That's why you might have find all the videos which have fun part of it or negativity or hate part of it, they have much more likes and shares rather than videos like this where I'm trying to share something which might help people. But having said that, you definitely should not consume more negative media in your life. It definitely impacts your life and your relationships. My philosophy is very simple. I always follow things which are relevant for me. So for example, the education system or how the technology and things are changing, which will have an impact of my daughter's life, I keep update on that. Also, I keep tracking investment sectors like how the Tesla stock is doing or how Google is doing, Amazon is doing, and things like that. Very relevant. And I don't go to follow any kind of news for that. I go simply on their website or investor pages and just study what they are doing right now. Very simple for you as well. I will always recommend to get away from that. Another thing which I've seen which has direct impact on how I think or react is, in case you are using headphone for a lot of music or your AirPod or something like that, and you don't realize, but they actually have a lot of impact on your brain, and I will not recommend them to use it, at least for a long time. For certain duration you can use it, but I have tested this on my journey across different locations, time zones, methods, airplane, plane, ships, everything. The headphones on your head have a lot of impact on brain directly, and if you are using them on full volume or high volume, it has a direct impact on your brain function. So don't do that. If you are doing it, try to reduce it. I normally use that wire headphones. They are probably good enough, but anything wireless is very dangerous for your brain function. Another thing which is become very prominent in the modern world, probably after COVID, is that the isolation, work from home, and things like that has become very prominent. But that is actually impacting your life. You don't realize it. Social isolation is not good at all. If you want to grow, you have to go out and meet people. Now, there are a lot of pushback on return to office and things like that. I don't know which policies are good or bad, but one thing is very clear. When you travel, you become wiser. You meet people, you meet different people from different culture, you learn different food, different habits. It's extremely important to travel, and especially for young people. If you don't like to travel, you are not going to grow in your life. You might have seen some successes in the world who are sitting in their home and making videos and famous. That is not the real world. You should definitely go out and work with people, end your isolation, make good friends, make, I would say, make friends or acquaintance in the areas where you want to grow yourself. That way you might have meaningful discussions with them. But you should end isolation. If you have, very dangerous for anybody to hamper their own growth. And the next one is, it's very obvious, you must have heard of many times, too much screen time. It is extremely bad. I can tell you my experience. At one point of time, I was using Twitter or X, and I was using almost 8 hours a day, which is a lot of screen time. And what I got out of that, probably nothing. Maybe some followers, maybe some good conversation with people, but whether it was worth it or not, I can share from my experience, it was not worth it. Even if I was earning the revenue creator and things like that, it's still not worth it. So you have to control your own screen time. You need to fix that if you are not fixing it, because it will impact your brain. You don't realize it, but it has a long term impact on your how you think, how you react, and those are very important thing if you are young in the corporate world, even in your personal life. Another one which has a major impact on brain function, which I have analyzed, again, I'm not a scientist or something like that, taking too much sugar is also very dangerous. You always feel that you have extra energy to do things, but in reality those are probably 50% of your own thinking power, and you are working on something. The goal should be to work less and use more power. It's like computer. If you have a brain like a CPU, you use more of memory and compute power to get better output, rather than you are using half of compute power and half of memory for, let's say, a whole day running a program. So goal should be to use minimum time, maximum CPU, and maximum memory if you want to have a great output in less time. So definitely control what you eat, especially you should control your sugar. If you are young, it's a must have for you. And the last one is, which I want to share, is most of the people do barely walk or do exercise in these days, and that is something extremely critical. I have, since my college days, I am always active for my gym or exercise and swimming and things like that. and it has kept me fit. But still, I feel that a lot of things I have to improve. And what I have seen that after this work from home culture, most of the people don't even have a regular routine of walking, drinking water, or basic things like which people used to do as a living. So now you have to be very conscious about that. You have to walk, let's say, 5,000 steps every day, something like that. Ideal scenario is 10,000, which is not possible for most of the people. I can mark my word. Most people cannot walk 10,000 steps a single day, every single day for 7 days. They will either get cramps or something like that. But if you are able to fix that, it actually gives you a lot of fresh air, fresh oxygen, and things like that, which will actually make you healthier. Now you must have seen in movies actors walk out of a room to get fresh air and things like that. Actually, that is true. Whenever I feel stress inside the home or something like that, I just move out, go for a 10 minutes walk, and I feel far better than sitting in one place. Most of the time, if you have an argument, you can actually control your emotions and anger. If you just walk out from that situation, go for a 10 minutes walk and come back, you might react differently. Don't take all the time on your ego. Most of the time people feel you have to respond right now so that your ego is satisfied. I think you can avoid most of the unnecessary discussions if you just walk out from the scenario, go for a walk, come with a fresh brain, and then tackle the situation. So these are the things which I have analyzed, I have shared today. Try to do some of those things. They are very basic, and you must have heard of from many celebrities also who keep sharing all these things. But I thought I will share as a normal person, a common person who has done all those things and was able to get benefit out of it. So please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any comment, please share. I would love to discuss any specific point. And thank you very much. See you in the next video. Bye bye.